Wir machen weiter mit einem weiteren Superstar. Please welcome Leonardo DiCaprio. The one and only Quentin Tarantino. The wonderful Margot Robbie. Last but not least, producer David Heyman. Welcome.
I'd done a little bit of research on the Manson family, but just before I was getting ready to do a deep dive and really start doing the research and really learning the whys and wherefores and learning more about them than I knew a lot, but I was going to now learn a whole lot more. But even the idea, I mean, the movie, you don't hear Charlie talk, but I wrote some scenes where you actually see Charlie. We shot him, we just didn't make the movie. But even to try to get to know Charles Manson enough that I could write his vocal rhythms. So I could write his speech patterns and write the way he talks. I was like, do I want to do that? Do I want to let these guys into my head like that? Do I want to know Charles Manson so well that I can write his speech patterns? And 4 or 5 years ago, I was like, I don't think so. And so I put it away and did something else. But then the material that I wrote, I liked so much that it just kind of, after that project was over, it gravitated me back to it. And then in between projects, I just kind of pushed the rock up the hill a little bit further.
Well, it's a lot about his growing up and his memories of being a child in Hollywood and driving around Los Angeles. And when you see the marquees in the theaters, I mean, those are things that were actually there. And as a kid, those were there. And the radio, which is a backdrop, KHJ, are also part of his memories of driving around Hollywood and listening to the sounds of KHJ.
Well, I think nobody else could make this film but Quentin. You know, it's got his singular voice. It is, as Shannon said, and as you indicated, an incredibly personal film. It's just so full of life and originality and freshness, and really it is a film that could be made by no other. You feel that in every frame. You know, Quentin brings such enthusiasm to making films, and it's a great pleasure to work on his films because of that. And you can see that enthusiasm in every frame of this film.
I knew I always wanted to reach out to my idols, Quentin being at the top of the list, at one point in my life, and let them know how much their movies meant to me and affected, well, my career choice and my taste in movies. And I wrote Quentin a letter, but I held off for a couple of years. I didn't feel like I was really at the stage of my career where I felt like I was ready to reach out. I didn't think I was a good enough actor yet. And then I watched the first cut of I, Tonya, and I thought, okay, I feel like I've hit the point where I'm happy with my acting now. Now I'm going to reach out to my idol. So I wrote him a letter, and fortuitously, it was great timing. It timed out nicely, and we met up. We spoke about Sharon. We spoke about the film. I got to read the script when it was done, and here we are.
I just love the way he constructed this story of two sort of voyeurs, two guys that are on the outskirts of Hollywood, and giving us this incredible backstory of who these men were beforehand. The second Brad and I stepped on set, we had this incredible history together that we implicitly and I think instinctually knew. So we're able to infuse all that in sort of 2 or 3 days of their life, where you don't tell a full story, but we had this sort of silent understanding of our past. And that's what's so amazing about a journey like this, is trying to tell a story in a condensed time period like that, but all of us having that understanding of our own history.
Quentin chose to tell the story of I guess, filmmaking process, television process through a stuntman, an actor at that time, which was much closer. But we all here, sitting here, rely on our friends specifically to survive this thing, to enjoy this thing, to negotiate our way through it. There's a lot of downtime, more downtime than actual action time, and so it was. It was pretty automatic for Leo and I, because we could just step right into that, and like Leo says, the backstory. There's probably 2 movies of prequels and backstory that Quentin laid out for us. So it was good fun. Right now, it's a really interesting time because you see the cinema experience shrinking, you see streaming exploding. The positive of that is we see this wealth of talent that's been on the sidelines all this time. This wealth of talent of directors and writers and actors, and really gutsy storytelling is being embraced. So that is really, really fun to watch. What happens to the communal experience? We'll see. I don't think it'll go away, but it's certainly in a shift right now. But we go with the times. We go with the changes, and it's all right with me.
I don't think it can ever go away. People will always, I believe, want to go out to movie theaters and have that experience. It is the greatest art form in the world. I'm honored to be a part of it. And as Brad mentioned, you know, we're entering an era where we're inundated with not only content and information, but new, amazing, you know, stories are being told. The format of which remains to be seen, whether the 2-hour, 3-hour format will stay intact or whether things are going to be 7-part series because, you know, there's so much content. But I don't think we're ever going to lose that communal experience of being able to go out to a theater together and feel the energy of a movie we're excited about. And that's why this movie was so incredible and awesome, and I'm honored to be a part of, because it's a big budget, fantastic art film, and that we may see a lot less of. But that's why you guys got to keep going to theaters and supporting films like this.